Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Cardcraft. Thanks for joining me again today. So, part 2 of our one sheet wonder. Where did we get up to? Glad you asked. So we've got our basics down. We've got our little folder created with the slip pocket, and we've got our little books that slide in. They're all done and dusted, both sides, like so. Folding over, folding over. So what we're going to do today is decorate it. All of you that have been making them, it's been awesome. I love being reading in all the comments this week about everybody that's loved it and gone off and made them. Some of you I know have been waiting for the decorating. It's here. I've had a busy week. Right, so what we're going to do with this one is I've got my bits left over from my original folder. We're going to use one of these as our pockets on the inside of here. So I'll get 2 out of that one sheet, and I've got the other sheet remaining. I am debating about putting it that way though and taking 2 bits because I like that grunge, but I can recreate that grunge and that gives me more, as in a full size one for another pocket. So let's have a look. Let's just get these pockets done first. I want something. Now, before we do that, our front one is going to have our closure on it as well, which is going to be an eyelet. So we need to make sure that we've got room for our eyelet to go on, so it's got something to grab hold of and still have a pocket big enough to slot something into. So these are our eyelets, if I can undo them. Yes. So what I tend to do is I will sit that on there, round about where I need it to go. And I can see I want a little bit of meat behind where the eyelet goes. And then I can work out the size of my pocket from that. I don't want too thin a pocket because you're not going to be able to slide anything in. But I also don't want too wide because let's say I go 2 inches. It makes it too hard to slide anything in. So we really only need 1.5 inches, even 1.25 inches will be fine to tuck something in. So, yes, sorry, I'm back in inches, aren't I? So that's 1.25 inches. That still gives me 3/4 inch to tuck something in. If I wanted to, I could make 2 pockets so that you've got that full length, but we're just going to go the one. Let's say we take it there, which is 3.5 centimetres or 1 3/8 inches. How's that? That makes it easy for everybody. So 3.5 centimetres. So what I'm going to do is slice, set that there before I lose it, slice this down. Just going to turn it over and you can see that this is the piece that still had the fold originally. We can work around that. So we're going to go there, which is 1.25 inches. It was a little bit over, wasn't it? There we go. Well, let's have a look at that. And I'm going to use this side for my pocket. If I've got my little eyelet there like that, that still gives all that area that I can still tuck something in. So that works well, and I can keep to the same size on the other side. So I'm going to make another one of those. So we're going to go about there, which is about there. Right. So I've got 2 of those. That one can go back away. They will need to be trimmed down in size. And if you can see, we've still got our folded edge there. So we know what size it's going to be. Because if our folded edge was where we cut these ones in the first place. So I'm just going to trim that off at the folded edge and trim this one off at the folded edge. Like so. Move that away. Pop those on. I'm not keeping those, okay? I'm not. Alright, he's a little bit long, but I can trim him off after I've glued that one down. Now, we've been using the... what have I been using? I've been putting everything away. I haven't been using my brushed corduroy. I was using one of my VersaFines pine cone, I think. I'll have a look. I'm just going to turn it over that way and have a look. Yep, that's what I was using. I'm just going to grunge it again. Alright, that's that one, ready to go. And this one, I've still yet to work out which way around I want this guy, so we'll have a look as we go. As I'm going to ink around everything, I just want to grunge where that light coloured flower is. Okay. And I think it should go that way, shouldn't it? That one can be adhered down, and it's just a pocket, so it's just going on the 3 sides. So we only want a thin line. We don't want to take away too much of our pocket already. It's only a narrow pocket. Lift that up so that you're back in view. Try and go close to the line. Not what I'm doing. What way up did I say? That way? It is now. Right against the edge. Line it up with one side, because you can always trim off that other edge if it's still a little bit long. Right, yep, I've got a little bit that we can trim off. So this one, exactly the same, and then we can pop our eyelet in. That way, turning round. I can see I've still got a little bit of that folded edge up the top bit, so that's the one I'm going to take over if I need to trim it off. Nice and straight. Right, now I can get my scissors and trim both of those off. So you'll see that there's a little bit down here. Like so. And this one, yes, up here. Bingo. Now I will need a little bit up here again where I've just trimmed into that. That side's fine. Might have a little bit of white showing. Fine. And a little bit more up here just to grunge it up. Right. There are our pockets ready to go. That side we're just going to leave. This side, what we want to do is pop our eyelet in, as I was saying before. So if I can find what drawer I'm after. Here we go. Now, it's up to you if you want to go dead half. I'm going to, just so that I can see where I'm going. So, if I go into centimetres, because it's a bit easier. 15, 7.5, about here. A little bit up. I'm just going to make a circle there. Sit that where I actually want it. Over the circle, then move it up a little bit. Right, so I want about that sort of meat in there. That's where I want it. Okay. You could just chunk that out. I'm using the big one in here. And over that. Right, so chuck that one away. Oh, I hope you can't hear my stomach. It must be breakfast time. Breakfast time, lunch time, one of those. That's going in there. The eyelets that I've got have got the little ring bits on the back. I just think they finish them off a little bit better. But, you know, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, really. Doesn't matter what eyelets I use. I struggle. I even struggle with the crocodile because of my hands some days, so... that in, that in, that in. Push him down. Beautiful. Give him another go because he's a little bit loose. They're going to be a little bit loose. There you go. It hurts my hands so much. Beautiful. So that's our closure, and we'll wrap our thing around that. We'll go back to our closure towards the end because we're going to decorate all that. So I don't want that string hanging off it at the moment. What I want to do next is my inside in here because I want writing space in here. Now I have a little container. You all know I love my old books, any books. I have a little folder that's book pages, but what they are the blank pages that are inside your book. So you know the first couple of pages, the last pages, the ones that may have writing on one side or whatever else. And whenever I'm gutting a book, I put those in here. My bigger ones go into a file down there. And it means that I still get that. Can you feel that texture? It's beautiful. So many old books have wonderful textures, and there's so many different colours. Look at all the different colours. So I keep these to stamp on. So I'm going to use one of these. I'm just going to find a colour. I quite like what I can see down here. Let's have a look. I quite like this colour. So this is going to go in here. Maybe I could even, oh, like that. So let's go that way. It makes it a little bit smaller for my writing area, but I get that, which is really yummy. So I'm thinking we might go that way. All right, I'll just chop that straight up there. Just watch your book pages as well. Quite often they're not square. So that's going to go in there like that. Okay, just move these ones out of the way again. What I want to do with this one, apart from ink it so that I can get that lovely edge up there to really stand out, like it's been burnt, crinkled. So I'm just back into using my brushed corduroy, and I'm literally just going on the edge. So you can see the difference. None here, so it just gives it that tip. It's a bit of mucking around, I know, but I like that look. Up into that bit. Like so. Alright. I'm just going to darken my edges with these bits, just so that they all match up. Like that. I'm just going round in a slight circle just to give it that, because a lot of old book pages have that faded in area where they're darker on the edge where they've been near sun, like that. Right, now what I want to do with this is I want to line it. So line it, that makes sense. I want lines on it. So what I want is something with lines. That one. So I've got lots of different lined ones or all the rest, but I find this, which is just a small lined one. Look, I think it's an old Kaisercraft one, and it went with a school range or something like that, but it would be one of my most used ones for lines. Put that back over there, moving this out. So if I just line this, because I can just stamp going down, beautiful, but I want a butterfly in there as well. So I'm just working out, do I want my butterfly? Let's just put the butterfly in the middle, just for the sake of it. What we're going to do is find a block for that, find a larger block for that, I'm just going to check that that's, because it's a rubber one that I've cut out, I just need to make sure we're a little bit straight. I'll put you there, down that line. Right, because my block doesn't have lines, I've set my block on my grid lines here and then evened up his body through a line so that I know he's now on there straight. I'm going to stamp him in. Now, I'm just looking at my colours. I think I will stamp my lines in a grey. So I'm going to go back to stamping him in the black. All right, hook that one up. I know my block is now straight with him. We're going dead in the centre. Lovely. Now, before I do anything else, I want a sticky note. So my sticky is at the top. I'm going to ink that one up again. There may be enough ink on there, but we'll put another lot up. And I need him fairly close to the top. I want a little bit of a border, but just so that the stamp catches that sticky area, like that. So now what I'm going to do is cut around that with giving myself just a little bit of a border. And what I've made is a mask for my stamp, so that I can then stamp all of my lines and they'll come out around my butterfly. It's so easy to do it this way. And really it's just a sticky note. And most of us will have sticky notes somewhere in the house. Just around that. Try and give yourself the same size border all the way around. If you need to draw a line around it, or if you have a stamp and die set, you'll usually find that the dies for each stamp are a little bit larger anyway and give you that border. So you can always use a stamp and die set for it. Now with these guys, hang on, I'm stuck, we'll get rid of that edge. Now with these guys, what I'm thinking of doing is just going around like that, so that I've just got a little wavy bit round it. Okay, so half of that is on the sticky. Now I can line this one back up over that. Let's have a look. Oh, that's great. That's my sinuses. Lovely. There we go. So now I've got a mask going on over that. What I'm going to do, I need a piece of scrap, I think. So now, this should fit on this one. Let's have a look. Yes. So now I'm going to work my way down this. And I'm going to use a grey, so thinking probably Morning Mist. And we'll start about up there. Going to the next one. Something's not straight, but so now I'm going to give it a line where that next line would have been, around about there. It is very difficult to look at it from this angle. It's easier to look straight over, but I'm fairly certain you don't all want the top of my head in the camera. So we'll just go this way, lifting that up, doing the same with this one down here. Right, so now that we've got our lined one, let's have a look. We'll take off our mask. There we go. How hard was that? It's a great way, again, to use your stamps, as if I need an excuse to use stamps. But it's a great way to put your stamps onto a lined piece. You can, oh, I can't get that off. If you don't have a stamp that's going to give you lines, don't fret. Quite often, if I've got a larger page or something like that and I can't bother using a smaller stamp, then I will just draw my lines. So I'll mask my butterfly and then I'll draw my lines. Or sometimes I'll stamp my butterfly, don't worry about a mask, and I just eyeball it as I go. So that one can now go in there, and look at that. Hasn't that changed the look of that? So we'll glue that one in now. Go on. See, I told you, they are all old book pages. But I love them. And the texture is wonderful, and they stamp beautifully. Unless you don't keep the glossy ones. Glossy ones are not going to work. It's going to be too hard. You're going to have to use a permanent ink, like it stays on or something every time. And it'll still take a while to dry. So just all your old books. There we go. I've got a cloth here. There we go. Hasn't that changed the look? How easy was that? So we'll move on to the front cover now. A few ideas going on with this one. I know I want some lace. I need to use up some of these, so I'm thinking this, even though it's only a part word, but what I want to do is just use a section of it. So I'm just going to snip across here where this one actually finishes. And down there. Right. So I want this somewhere in here, like that. So my little butterfly is still there. I want a little bit of lace, of course, because this is me down here. And yes, I know we can still see the upside down F. I want some music page coming out here. You know how I like my layers. I've just gone through, so I've had a little bit of a break. I've had some lunch, so my stomach's not gurgling anymore, and pulled out some of these. I want some music pages, so I've gone through a pile of them to find something that's a fairly close colour. So that'll be this one. And I'll just tear that off. All right, that one back over there. There's a really nice section in here that's got lots going on. I can still use the bottom part of that, so I'm just working out how big I want this, and I might just trim it straight across there at the moment, like so, just to get it down to a manageable size, so that I can, oh yes, I can still use that, so that I can still work out whether I want it above and onto that butterfly to come in from here, which is what I'm going to do to start with, and then I can always take it back if need be. So I want this one torn, and I will need to tear out a little bit just to make a divot around that. If I tear this again, now that I know where I'm going, so it still just looks torn, but it's allowed a little bit of a divot there now so that that can come over. I'm just going to sit that in there, and we'll just play around with how we're going. I want that one in there, and I want that one on there. So whether I go, I'm still just debating that one. Now I have also been playing with some dies, and I had to play with those off camera because my die cutting machine's way over there. So I stamped out a couple of our butterflies that we've got on the inside, again on another piece of book page. Just did a couple of colours because I wasn't quite certain. I had a mulberry in the archival inks, but he was just a little bit too deep, so I'm just waiting to see if it did lighten up anything, because I know when you're using distress inks, distress oxides, they lighten a little bit over the first 24 hours. Archival inks, not so much, just depends on the paper. So then I went and grabbed watering can in an archival. I know we used the Morning Mist in the Versaclear for my lines on the inside, but I wanted to have a look at that one while there was still a little bit of mulberry sitting on my stamp, and I'm quite liking that. So I've cut him out and I want that to sit in here like so. So now you can't see that upside down F. So you can see how I've just used the pretty bits that I've got left on that sheet and hid, I suppose, the rest of them. So this is where I'm going with my front cover. This will have a tie around it, so my butterfly's not getting covered by the tie, which will go around there. And I'll probably use lace. I'm still working that one out. It's just a matter of working out where I want to go from here. So at this stage, I'm just going to trim this right about there to take that excess out. About there. And you can see I just used a fingernail mark to work that out, just so that I can get an idea of where I'm going and what I'm doing. So I can see now where my edge finishes. I'm liking all that. If I can pick this guy up. And that one's going to slot in there like so. So that's starting to look nice and delicate and dainty and all the rest nicely layered up. This one is going to finish where my lace finishes, so that's going to go about there. That's going to go about there to about there. I'm just getting rough ideas of where I want to go to where I want to trim. The lace is going to go way over there and finish on the edge of that lace, so we're going to go there, right there. I did make a mark. I did make a mark. I can always take more off. So this will go there. This will go there. This one will go down here like so, right on the edge of that. Make sure my butterfly still covers that. Like so. I'm happy with that. This will be edged, and we might as well edge that now so that we can see the difference in the colour. And I'm again just going to go on the edge just to make it stand out and look a little bit aged. Right. For those of you that are on the Playing with Paper and Glue Facebook group, I'm in that. I'm an admin in that one. And for those of you that are on it, you may have seen my lovely present that my husband did buy me this week, which was that beautiful, beautiful A4 pigeonhole stand. It's huge, it's huge, it's huge. And I put a photo up of it. So if you haven't seen it, go over and have a look. Otherwise, come and join the group and go over and have a look. So I've spent yesterday sorting the room and reorganising to put all my A4 sheets and my bigger book pages. That was what I mainly wanted it for, all my book pages and things like that. And it's so nice now. I went over with a piece of this and just ran through all the book pages until I found the colours that I wanted, and that's where the music sheet worked, because I tend to work in colours and then work out what sort of thing I want after that. But yes, so go over and have a look. It's beautiful, beautiful. Right, so I'm liking how this is coming up, and I still haven't worked out that. Let's just tear that off there for now. That one's done in a ruler, so this one needs to be this one needs to be done in a ruler. I want a smaller ruler where I don't have another sheet of paper underneath it. How's that? Like that. Let's see where we're at now. And Pat Boone can be glued. All right. And what I'm going to do is fold that out flat so it doesn't move on me as I go. I want that down the bottom, over as far as I can go over there. My bottom's straight, so that should all be straight. Now never forget your music sheets, because you can stamp all over those ones as well, and they come up a treat. This one that way, and I'm going to like so. Okay. Could have been nasty. Alright, so let's just check to see what side we're going with that one. And I actually think it's that way, the way I had it. I'm wanting that up a bit, and I'm just going to chop it just there. And then I'm going to fray my ends. This is going to go here. I want this to look nicely loved. Again, personal preference. That can be on up there. Yep, happy with that. Now. A little bit of love on the end, not too much. Just splay it a little bit. Alright, yep. So now I want some fabric glue. And I'm going to follow this line all the way up there, up to about there, I think it was, wasn't it? A little bit further in, and then once I've got it in, I can actually rearrange and pop a little bit more glue where required. So on the edge of that. Ah, look at that. Worked that out a treat, didn't I? Straighten that little bit up. Lovely. You are going to go just there. See how it's covered all of that F? You can't see any of that anymore. And I just want a word. And that will still, that'll hold that lace down when it's tied, and it won't cover my butterfly. So maybe we need a word up here and off to this section here. So let's have a look at some words. Antique always works for me. Let's go antique. And I'm going to stick that down before I lose it. Right, how's that? Can you hear my boys down the back? I do have my door shut. They've both got the day off. It's Sunday. And they're 22. All right. But they've both got the day off and they're down there gaming. So they game in their rooms across the hallway from each other. Kobe's in his room, Josh is in his room, and they'll be gaming together with their headphones on. But the noise level just keeps going up and up and up during the day. Right, I'm happy with the front of that. Next we've got the inside cover here. Now, in amongst my wanderings, I found a couple more pieces that belong to this paper range, like literally one piece, and a piece from the paper pad, and a little piece from the paper pad, so I don't chuck anything out. But I looked at this and fell in love with this. So what I'm planning to do is actually pop a pocket in here, but not just a pocket that way, a side pocket. So what I'm thinking of doing is, that should be enough to tuck something in and still have a tag there where it's not going to stick out. So if I'm just going to chop that about there, and it'll all become clear. Right, that's that one. I'm hoping that that's straight. Let's have a look. Oh, sorry. Because this will go on here. And we're going to do the same on this one so it doesn't all keep sliding around. Alright, this will go here. Like so. I'll still keep that pretty little flower in there. Chop that bit off. Right. There's my little birdies, but what I want, again, of course, is this to come out there. But I want to tear that because I've already got torn in here, and I need to just bring that music sheet over so that it ties in again. So my music sheet's going to go in here like so. That will be stuck flat, doesn't need to go all the way back, just so that it pokes out from this pocket. So my music sheet really needs to finish about there. Let's just chop that bit off. Make it straight on that edge, maybe. Right. Sit you there. Sit you there. That will sit in here. So I've still got a little bit of this red. That one, that's not straight at all, but it doesn't matter. That one will sit in there like so. Now, my music sheet I did before in this one, so we'll do that again. So, 2 pockets there, larger pocket there, which I'm thinking I might use some of these. And I know they're white on the background, but I can just go over those with a little bit of ink. That one there. Because we only have a spine of 1/4 of an inch, I don't want to put pockets on the front of that one and the front of that one. If you're going to do a larger spine, these of course will need to be smaller in the overall finished size because you've only got 12 inches to start with. But if you're going to do a wider spine, then by all means you can pop pockets on here and pockets on there. But the more pockets you put in and the more you fill those pockets, the less likely it's going to want to fold properly. Believe you me, I know, because I keep filling all these things so much. So that's that one, that's that one. It all then ties in beautifully. We're going to make some journal cards with these. Now we just want something on here. So we want one on there. I got an idea. So, picking some colours. And again, back into my old newspaper. And let's go back to that scrap box. Basket box, whatever you want to call it, and we want something nice. Of course they're all nice, but something in a different, slightly different colour. Let's just have a look. And like that. Doesn't take much to do a little bit of a focal point. That can be trimmed back a bit. And when you tear, you can just keep tearing little bits off. I like the 88 on that. That one and that one, and then something smaller in a different colour again. Oh, here we go. Now this is off that lace sheet that I have in my Ko-fi store. Let's It's a freebie, I think, from memory. That'll work. Let's just have a look at that. I'll tear that to give it that real lacy look, and so that it matches the others. I'm liking that. Just going to turn that way so I can see where I'm going. And there, just for a little bit of interest, we can still pop a flat image on there, like a stamped image or something like that. Always. Move that. I quite like all this. How this one goes. I want that 88 to show. Yep. It just gives a little bit of a focal point up there. So we'll do that one. And we'll use this one. Like so. That glue will all squash through. A little bit up the stem. And I might use my tweezers, if we can find said tweezers. There we go. Let's go that way. Now I want to show that 88 still, that's there. There we go. So that's that one done. I'll just get rid of some of this. So I think I've gathered everything I need to finish this off. Been stamping a little bit and all the rest. So this one, all I want to do with that one is pop a stamped image up there. Now I debated about popping it on just this, but I think I'm going to use up the rest of this. I want that bit there, but I want a little bit of fabric, lace, etc. I've just decided that, so I didn't have that one out. This is the one I'm using to tie it all together. So let's see if we continue with that one. Let's just do that. About there. About there. That one can go back in there before I get that one all caught up as well. And I don't even know now where it was there. Right. So with that there like so, I'm going to need my fabric glue. I'm going to slip this book out again to make it so that it's not quite so bulky as I'm working on it. Like that. So much easier if we can lay things flat when we're working. Bits will stay in there then. Go there. That'll go about there. Okay. Ooh, it's a hot day. It's a hot day. I need something to get rid of that. Hang on. That's what I get for getting sidetracked. Just like that. That's not straight. It'll do. Like that. And that one will go on there like that. So I'm happy with that. Closed that this time. I'm just going to use this one. Right, won't need much more than that, and I'll get my tweezers again, which I've got over here. so don't get too gluey. That'll go there, like so. Right, that ties that lace that we're going to use at the front into all this as well. That's that one. Pop him in, back in there, like that. That goes that way, that goes that way. That one I've literally just cut out one of those sheets from the paper pad. I've used my ink blender, as in that one, with my brushed corduroy and just taken the starkness of the white out. I've punched a tab of my whale tail punches in a scrap piece that I had of that, and stamped some numbers in some circles. Again, stamped. And that can go in there like so. So when that shuts, I should have, yep, you can't see it, so that's okay with that. These ones, now, again, what I want to do is some of the, got another one of these, here he is. Now that I've got one of these left over, you can see that they're too large anyway, so the plain is what I'm going to use. And we'll just chop those ones off. And then what we're going to do, put down there. That one. Take this one off first, Kylie. And we need to get rid of the love. Oh no. Just at the top of the eel so I can have it as long as I possibly can. Just that. So now I've got that size. We'll see what we need to chop off again. That will just fit. It's still a little bit too wide. With this side, with the other side it would be fine, but it's this side that I'm concerned about at the moment. I'm just going to chop off a tad bit more because we've got that eyelet in there. I'm just going to take off a little bit. Yep, you want it so that you can pull it out. You don't want to have to, you know, try and get right in here. So I've got that, but just to finish this off, let's put one of these back on it. Okay, one of the ones that we've just chopped off, that can go back on it. And our other side, which is this, will need to be covered to make a journaling spot. So look, there's a couple of different ways you can use the book pages that I've had before, plain ones. You can just use copy paper, which is what I'm reaching over to now. And I'm just going to glue that straight onto there. I'm going to put this one on first. Right. So I've got another journal spot in there. There is lots of journal spots. If you don't want pockets, don't do pockets. It is, you know, a piece unto itself anyway, and you've got all those journaling areas with the actual books in there. As I said before, the more you put in there, the thicker it's going to be. So that's going to go in like that. Now I have a pile of stamped ones of these, and I'm going to use some of these. Alright, if you can just get areas like this. I've got a big journal one in there. Things like that. Okay, so you can just keep going and filling each one of those as you want with bits and pieces like that, bad old receipts, depending on the style you're into. For me, anyone would know, old, vintage, dull tonings, things like that. Right, let's put this guy together. So, to keep it together, lace, ribbon, leather thread, wax thread will work as well. Now I like to double mine, and I'm just going to see how much I've got there. A little bit more. Let's go to there. So what I've got in length, let's have a look. I've got. Let's go on that. That's 21 inches. 27 inches. What's that in centimetres? Or 30. Bit over 60 centimetres, 62, something like that in centimetres. You may get away with half a metre, but for me, what I like to do with this is fold it in half, poke one end through. Okay. Now I want to tie a knot up close to this. So I'm just going to, this is about the fiddliest part of the whole thing. I'm just going to tie a knot so that I've just got a little bit of that loop hanging out. Don't want too much. Like that. Enough so you may, depending on what you're using as your tie, will depend on how many knots you need to do, because you don't want it to go back through that eyelet. Okay, so can you see how that's now sitting through that eyelet? All we're going to do now is wrap that around. Got one short, one slightly longer. This one will go through that hole. And now I'm just going to tie a bow or a knot. It's up to you how you want to tie that. That holds the rest of my lace down. All fingers. Maybe I need some more chocolate. If you want to do longer thread, give yourself some longer thread, depending on how well you are tying bows. There you go. All done, all tied, all close together. To undo it, all you're going to do is undo your bow and it'll just come out. But this will stay in there because of your knot. Okay, hope you've enjoyed this one. I hope you've been able to stick around for the decorating. I know I don't normally do them in two parts. Thank you so much. Until next time, happy crafting. Hope you enjoy the rest of this one as much as you all enjoyed the first part of it. Thanks, guys. Bye.